Hello, I'm Mr. Dady, and this is Multistep Equations, and we're going to do one that has distribution. The key you want to look for here is combining like terms. All right, there's a couple things I'm going to go over that are big mistakes that I always see when we do these. So our first one is 4x plus 5 equals 2x minus 7. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos, I do this a certain way. I draw my wall first. Then I label everything. This is a number and a letter. This is a number, number, letter, and a number. That's just another way of saying constant and constant. Coefficient and variable, coefficient and variable. All right, so you want to combine your like terms. That's the key. So I'm going to combine my like terms. Now, when I go over the wall is when I use an inverse operation. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides, because the inverse operation plus 5 is subtract 5. All right, simple enough. Now, I have number, letter, and number. Now this is something that gets people messed up. I am going to subtract the 2x to the other side. I'm not going to divide it. A lot of times you're so used to doing the one-step equations and the two-step. Here, you have to subtract that to move it over. You do not divide it, because all you're doing right now is combining your like terms together. So you subtract it over, and you combine. So 2x, all I've left over here is a negative 12. So now you're at your one-step equation, which is what you want to do with all of these. The two-step, the multi-step, variables on both sides, distribution. You're just trying to get down to your one step. Now that I'm here, I have a number, letter on one side, and a number on the other. All right? No more like terms, so now all I have to do is finish. Solving. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X equals negative 6. Now we will check this. And before I do that, here you have a negative and a positive. Negative, positive, frowny face, negative numbers. I'm only going to check one of these, but I just want to show you again to take this and plug it back in for what your variable was. So my original was 4x plus 5. I do one side at a time when it comes to these. It just makes it a little bit cleaner for me. That's negative 24 plus 5, negative 19. So when I do the other side, I should get negative 19. 2x minus 7, so 2 times negative 6. That's negative 12 minus 7 is negative 19. That is correct. All right, now we have our second example here. We have a number, letter, number, and number. Now this is the first time you've seen it if you're going through my videos and seeing the examples. I have two number letters on the same side. They are like terms. This is the biggest mistake I see. If they are on the same side, do not use an inverse operation to combine them. Just combine them. It's only when you go over the equal sign of the wall that you use those inverse operations. So on this side, all I will do is just combine them. Do not use the inverse operation. So it would just be 7 plus 2 is 9. Bring down my negative 5 and negative 23. Right? Do not say 7x, all right, I need to subtract this negative 2 away from that and give me 5x. No, just combine them. You only use your inverse operation when you go over the equal sign of the wall. Right? Now, that would combine like terms. We can move along. I'm going to add 5 because I want to combine my numbers, which are my other like terms. And I'm going over the wall, or over the equal sign, so I have to use the inverse operation of subtracting 5, and that's adding 5. Gives me 9x, because those cancel each other out, minus 18. All right? Now we're down to that one-step equation, which is what we want. Divide by 9, because we're trying to get the number away from the coefficient, or the coefficient away from the variable. X equals negative 2. All right, this is our third example. I'm going to label it. Combine my like terms. All right, I have two numbers that are here, but this isn't a fraction using division, so it's still connected to the variable technically. So I'm going to combine these two. When I go over the wall, what do I use? Inverse operation. So I add 6 to both sides. Cancels each other out. 6 plus 6 is 12, and I bring this whole thing down. All right, now there's two ways to do this. You can take the reciprocal of 3/4. I can multiply both sides by 4/3. That's the reciprocal of 3/4. Multiply this by 4/3 and this by 4/3. But that's not how I'm going to do it. That's not how I like to do it. I like to get rid of fractions. I don't like dealing with them. So I'm going to multiply this side by the denominator and this side by the denominator. So what that does is it gets rid of that 4 and leaves me with 3x and 48. Now I'm at my one-step equation. Divide both sides by 3, which is my coefficient. Get x equals 60. Good thing about watching these videos is if I did go too fast, go back and watch it. All right, so if you are having trouble keeping up with the pace I'm going, just pause it and go back. All right, for our last example, we have a distribution here that we have to take care of first. Always do that first. Don't try to combine any like terms. Do all your distribution when you need to first. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute that to both of the terms that are inside the parentheses. So it gives me 2 times 3x gives me 6x. 2 times -4 is -8. Then just bring everything else down. Another big mistake is people will distribute, but they only distribute to the first one. You have to distribute to both terms that are inside of it. So I distributed the 2 to the 3x, and then I went back and distributed the 2 to the -4. All right. Now I label. This is more like an example of the first one we did, or second one we did. I have two numbers on this side. What am I going to do? I can tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to use the inverse operation to combine them. I'm just going to combine them as they are. It's that simple. -6 plus 2, or -8 plus 2 is -6. And I bring everything else down. If you hear me making a lot of mistakes, it's because the second time I had to do this video. I accidentally deleted the first one. So this is the second time going through this. So then I relabel number, letter, number, number. So I need to go and combine my numbers, and I have to go over the equal sign of the wall, so I use my what? Inverse operation. The inverse operation of subtracting 6 is adding 6. And then I just simply divide. And then if I took the 4 and plugged it back in, that would be 12 minus 4, which is 8. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 is 18. And that is how you do multi-step equations. If you're still having trouble with it, go back and watch the one-step and the two-step ones I put up. Or go watch someone else's videos if you want to see a little bit different way of doing it. Whatever helps and whatever way you want to do it. There's always multiple ways to do these problems. This is just the way I do it.